Royal editor and expert Robert Jobson has published a book recalling Prince Philip's century of life from 1921 to 2021 and shared some fascinating tidbits he unearthed during his research for the book. Mr. Jobson explained Prince Philip was one of the few people who could speak to the Queen quite frankly and recalled an interaction between the two after diving into government archives. The author described a situation during a Caribbean engagement where an annoyed Duke of Edinburgh called out the monarch for her endless yakking. Speaking to the Royal Rota podcast, Mr. Jobson was asked what interesting and unknown accounts about Prince Philip he found during his research that ITV Royal editor Chris Shipp may not know. He told the podcast, "We get wrapped up and forget what is new and what isn't new. I got into the archives and I found some of the missives from the ambassadors fascinating when they all have bits redacted. There was one particular anecdote that always made me smile. He was one person who really could speak to the Queen in a way others would not be able to. I remember there was this one instance during a tour of the Caribbean and couldn't wait to get on the royal yacht. The Queen was shaking the hands of all the officials and doing what she does very well, but he had enough of all of this. And so he went on board and then he stood on the deck and shouted at the Queen, yak yak yak, there's quite enough of that, we have to go now. She looked up at him and if looks could kill, but this was all recorded in the Foreign Office. The Duke of Edinburgh spent his last year of life at Windsor Castle as both he and the Queen relocated there in March 2020 following the pandemic. The royal couple would only visit the castle on holiday throughout the year and would rarely spend extended periods of time there. The Queen is also expected to now stay at Windsor Castle rather than Buckingham Palace or other royal residences to be both closer to her passed-away husband and to make the most of the outdoor freedoms. Prince Philip died on April 9 and was buried at St. George Chapel in Windsor on April 17. The event was scaled back as it was subject to coronavirus restrictions which only allowed 30 members to attend. The lockdown rules however state there is no limit on the number of workers at a funeral, which is the reason behind photographers and guards attending.